You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Beyond the Gates fans, I've got your weekly spoilers for Monday, June 9th through Friday, June 13th. We have got Kat pulling a double cross and Dani in an absolute panic over Bill. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. Please click subscribe if you're not following. Let's jump right in. Monday, June 9th, season 1, episode 69 of BTG. Tomas is surprised to hear that Leslie left a message for Bill, who's out of the office because he's at the hospital, and he's going to take care of it. Also, Naomi tells Jacob about Bill's stroke, but says, stay at work. I've got it. Haley is fussing at Bill to quit griping about being in the hospital and get the test and treatment that he needs. Naomi winds up comforting a crying Haley, and when her mom Dani walks in and sees them holding hands, she is quite upset. Speaking of upset, Chelsea's not happy that Haley didn't call her to tell her about the stroke. Dani's lurking out in the hall so she can talk to Bill alone when he comes back from getting a test. And then Dani follows Bill in and is reminding him to follow orders because he's got kids. But then she is annoyed when Haley says yes, and there's another one on the way. Staking that claim again. Derek tells Andre he's sorry for the way he acted and making assumptions, and he asks about the Leslie and Laura case, and they have a talk. Looks like Andre might tell him something about the security footage that Leslie was asking about. Nicole confronts Eva for coming to her house, and Eva explains she only came over there to help Laura with some of the computer stuff that have changed while she was gone. But Nicole doesn't want Eva around, especially since Leslie is still in her life. But Eva says, that's my only mom. And looks like Nicole gives her some advice, the same advice that Ted did about just not trusting her. Eva apologizes to Nicole, who accepts the I'm sorry. And as she goes, Eva is left in tears. Kat, meanwhile, stops by Leslie's place to pretend she wants a truce. She calls Kat a know-it-all, and Leslie is pleased to tell her that the police search found nothing. Meanwhile, Tomas calls Leslie, and while she's distracted, Kat unlocks a window in Leslie's apartment. Derek stops by to tell Jacob that Leslie's been asking questions about the security footage at the hospital, and Tomas meets Leslie, who says she wants him to get Kat off her back. Leslie says she has heard about Tomas from Eva and tells Tomas that her daughter is a better match for him than Kat, but Tomas tells Leslie to go kick rocks. Dr. Madison Montgomery pretends she does not know Chelsea as she delivers news that Bill had a small stroke. He had a procedure. He needs to stay in the hospital a few days. Recovery is going to take about 6 months. Chelsea follows Madison out and gets her flirt on with the lady doctor. Plus, Kat sneaks into Leslie's place on Monday and hides the helmet and gloves there. And then Kat goes and tells Jacob she thinks Leslie might have moved the evidence out of her place and then moved it back in after the search. Showing up at Eva's hotel room, Leslie freaks out and says, give me back the helmet and gloves. Eva refuses to. She kicks her mom out and says it's very well hidden. But then she checks under the bed and sees that the helmet and gloves are gone. And just by the way, I'm sure you've traveled recently. No hotel has an under the bed anymore. Not any decent hotel. Maybe some like cheap, I don't even know, Motel 12, no-tell motel thing, but they're all up on boxes now because they don't want people leaving stuff under the bed. They don't want to have to vacuum under it. So come on now, right? There's no under the bed like that. That was some kind of low-rent IKEA bed frame they had that bed on. That was just contrived. Then we go into Tuesday, June 10th, season 1, episode 70 of Beyond the Gates. And Dani has these residual feelings for ailing Bill, and that's going to complicate her situationship with Andre. I think it's going to complicate Dani's relationship with her daughters as well. After being married to Bill for so long, it's understandable Dani had that knee jerk to show up and to start asking the doctor for information and trying to insert herself into the whole thing. But Haley is standing her ground when Dani's trying to talk to the doctor. Anything like that, Haley is stepping in front of her, like it or not, she is the new wife, and Dani doesn't like this, but what can she do? We'll see. Naomi is really nervous, and Vernon calms her down on Tuesday, and Naomi's telling her granddad that she blames herself for Bill's stroke because he had that spell when she was chewing him out about Haley's pregnancy. If you remember, Naomi was asking him, did he expect her to throw Haley, her step monster, a baby moon party or something like that. And that's when Bill started speaking in tongues and couldn't move his hand and obviously had that spell. And then, Haley finished him off by throwing herself at him for couch sex. Maybe those two should actually use the bed. I'm starting to question if that big fancy house they have beyond the gates has a bedroom, because the only place they ever do the deed is on the sofa, and he's a big tall guy. He's too big to be doing that on the sofa. All right. Also on Tuesday, Madison is connecting with Chelsea, which looks to me like a little conflict of interest since she is her dad, Bill's doctor. Wednesday, June 11th is season 1, episode 71 of BTG. So at some point this week, Andre pops into Dani's place, just walks in low key like he's meant to be there. And Kat and Chelsea are already there, and they're like, what you doing? And Andre has to cover. And then they're almost busted again, because also this coming week, Vernon pops in, walks right into his daughter's house, calling out for Dani, and she's in the sheets with Andre. Clearly, they are going to get busted. I think the family's not going to be too happy when they find out. Maybe, though, they'll tolerate it if it means she won't be going psycho over Bill. Madison is there for Chelsea as her dad, Bill, recovers from his medical crisis. And Madison does admit that she knew who Chelsea was, knew she had an influential family and was a model, and was a little intimidated by it. So it seems like the ladies are gonna start dating. And hey, at least Chelsea's scoring a successful doctor. Anita has an update for Vernon on the reunion of the Articulates. And this week, Tracy tells Anita and Sharon that the love they shared as the Articulates can be reclaimed. On Thursday, June 12th, episode 72 of the first season of BTG, we've got Martin heading for trouble because Smitty has a new assignment as a journalist that might overlap with whatever dirty deed his husband is hiding. Ted makes Eva a surprising offer. I wonder if they're going to move out of the hotel and get a house together, and he invites her to move in. That would be really cool, and it would drive Leslie crazy, but I feel like she's going to be in the big house soon because she has got to get busted. Although I hate to see her go. I hope that she doesn't, get convicted because she's such a good villain. Meanwhile, Kat sets up Leslie to take a fall, and Jacob is going back to search Leslie's apartment again, and he gets the goods and confirms for Kat that they match the helmet and gloves in the video. Friday, June 13th, episode 73 of season 1, we've got Chelsea finding her new romance with her dad's doctor emotionally challenging, which is kind of interesting. And Martin's past may soon come back to bite him, and Ashley worries about what Derek's intentions are.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.